this one. Excellent. So we're going to talk today about how to fail, because failing happens. And so I put a little quote down there. It's a little 90s song. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You ain't never going to keep me down. I forget the actual title of that song, and it's like at least 30 years old now. So it's an old song, but you get knocked down, but you get up again. So we're talking about how to fail. We all fail, right? We've all failed. And we fail probably every day. We fail at something or another, right? But throughout your life, I mean, this is not a Debbie Downer presentation, so don't get too freaked out, but it's just a fact that we're going to fail at things. And some people make their entire existence effort to try not to fail. And I'll get into that a little bit, but newsflash, you're going to fail at stuff and it's going to be okay. And don't box in the word failure to, I'm going to fail a class. That's like how we get very literal. I mean, there's going to be things that just don't work out in your life, and it's okay. So have you ever failed at something? Have you ever failed a test, let somebody down, let yourself down? I can tell you, I was one of these typical, I want to do really well at school. I want to make all good grades, got into middle school and math kicked my behind, then got into high school. And my dreams of making all A's at that point were already very, very gone. But I got to chemistry and failing tests was a regular for me. I failed a lot of tests. Thankfully, the teacher was merciful and he weighted his labs higher than the tests. So I did okay once I, got into the lab and actually put, nope, that was a mistake. Method to madness. But if there's anything, if you failed, you just put like, yes, I failed. If anybody wants to share something they failed at, feel free. But yeah, we fail at stuff. I've failed a lot of times, all the time. Fail many times. So failure is normal and natural. We fail at everything. So go ahead, let's just go ahead and clear the air. Yes, we have all failed at something. It could be a grade you made or a project that you did or something that you tried out for and didn't get, or something that you wish you had even begun to try out for and never did. It can be something like that, or we failed ourselves. I have failed myself many times where I've held myself to expectations as a parent. I want to be a good parent. And then I make decisions where I get short with my kids or frustrated. And I'm like, wow, I really failed in that moment. I really failed to meet my kids' need. But that's okay. Failing, it does not mean that you failed, full stop. You're never going to be good at something the rest of your life. And we'll talk about that too. But there are things that I've failed at, things that I wish I could go back and very, very much do differently. Things are let myself down. And we have to give ourselves some grace for that. But anyway, we're talking about failure today. We're talking about how to deal with it. So Ernest Hemingway said a quote that I'm not going to say exactly what he said. I'm gonna let you read between the lines. He said, the first draft of anything is poop, except he did not say the word poop. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Ernest Hemingway being a very famous author. He says the first draft is always just junk, right? When you think about the first time you do something, we often think the first time we do something, we need to be perfect at it. And if we think that way, we're going to set ourselves up to feeling like a failure. Nobody starts off good at everything. No Olympic athlete started off perfect at their craft or at their sport. It does not happen. That's not a thing. I know people who are so afraid of failure that if they don't think they can go out and be immediately good at something, that they're just not going to try at all. It's better to not even try than to try it and, oh my gosh, what if I fail? When we really need to view things as, guess what? My first attempt is not going to be good anyway. But that's just the first draft. That's just the first attempt. The first time you get out and decide you want to go start running, or the first time you try to play basketball and you're going to throw the ball to the hoop, you're going to miss. If you don't miss, you got lucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take practice. We fail along the way. And here's where I'm going to throw school under the bus a little bit. School does not do a good job of this. School does not do a good job of showing you that learning is a journey and a process. We are taught that you learn this material. This is our unit. We're talking about, speed and force, or we're talking about this unit of math, or we're learning about the Civil War. This is the only time we learn about it. And then you take a test. And let's say that was a hard time in your life. Maybe you didn't feel good. In my house, the past week, everybody has had the stomach bug, including myself. I had it twice. I got it first, and then I was the last person to get it because I got it again. What the heck? So let's presume your life is something like that. You've been sick a lot, or you're going through some things at home, or you just don't really understand the material. It's not clicking for some reason. School has set us up to believe that you take the test and that is the measure of how you are. If you make an A, you've mastered the Civil War unit, or you've mastered the unit on force, velocity, speed. And if you fail, then you have failed. You fail to know that information. I've told this story before, but I used to think, and I said this earlier, that I was terrible at math. I used to think, I'll be honest, that I was stupid at math. This is a girl who tried to do really well at school. I told you I was able to do really well elementary school. I was making really good grades. I thought I was the smartest in my class. I needed a little bit of a failure to bring me back down, right? We need failures to keep us humble. And so I got to middle school and I met my match. I was made humble by math. My friends were all getting it. They were all getting good grades. I felt like an idiot. I felt like I didn't belong in the class. I was embarrassed. I didn't want to share my grades with them because they're all like, I made a this, I made a that. What'd you make? And I'd be like, well, I would lie. I was embarrassed of what I did. And I felt like a failure because everybody else seemed to be getting it and I wasn't getting it. Basically from then on, I existed in my math classes and barely passed my high school math class. Like the last one I had to take, pre-calculus. I opted out of calculus. You got the chance of taking an extra math senior year, didn't take it on purpose, said I will not be taking that. How many do I need to graduate? Good, got it out of the way. I'm not taking an extra math, forget it. And I moved on. Barely passed pre-calculus, felt stupid, and math felt out of my league, felt like I didn't belong there. Everybody else did have to take the final because they did really well. You can exempt the final if you did well. I was in the class that had to go to school an extra day to take the final because my grade was not good, and sit there and barely passed it. Barely passed the final, which meant I barely passed class. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed, like a failure. I get to college and I'm dismayed to learn that for college, I'm going to have to take several math classes to get my degree. And I'm like, Dad gum, I'm going to have to do all this all over again. I hate this. It's going to be the worst. But here's the thing that was different. In college, we had an A day, B day schedule, which I didn't have in high school. In high school, we had every day you had the same class. I'm not sure how y'all's classes are, but I will say that for me, every day of math, it was too fast. I wasn't able to get it because it was going too fast. And when I went to college, they had it just Monday, Wednesday, and I would go do my class, and I had time in between to sit and do my homework and learn it. And in college, they had all of these different ways of teaching you. Like they would bring out all these tools and like almost like toys where we're like, we're going to learn about fractions. So I'm bringing out this little like fraction pi things, or I'm bringing these little cubes out so we can count them like children, like elementary school, like goofy stuff. Do you know what? Suddenly I learned it because I am a hands-on learner. And I realized I was not a failure. The way I was taught did not equate with how I learned. And I had the same teacher in high school for 2 of those math classes that I did not do well at. And she was a very visual teacher. She would teach just by writing problems on the board, and we'd have to look at them. Start bringing in some hands-on stuff. Start giving me some time to sit with it. I realized I'm good at math. I actually am really good at math. My brain likes math. My brain just needs more time. My brain just needs to have stuff it can hold on to, and it needs to like, be able to touch and be with the math and like have it make more sense. It can't just be a problem on the board for me. Can't do it. Does that mean I'm going to suddenly change my job and go with it? No, I know my strengths. I'm not that good at math, but I'm not a failure. And I realized that it was a journey For me, if I had measured my math only on the tests and the class and the grade that I got in high school, I would believe I was a failure. But I'm not, because I learned that it was just part of the process. I had to get a little more creative about how I learned math. Suddenly, I didn't hate it. I'm not, like I said, loving it. I'm not going to go out and change my job, but I'm not a failure. But it was part of the process. I realized I learned a different way. And again, school doesn't set you up well. They say input information, output a grade. And if you're not good at it, then you're a failure. If you failed, then you failed. You are bad at chemistry. And that's not true. I probably could, if I went back to school, do better at chemistry if I learned a different way, or if I had more time, or, other things. Also, it's about expectations. If you go into something thinking you're going to fail, you probably are. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, there's a lot of power in the mentality that we approach things with. It's just, I mean, you go into a class and you're like, I hate this class, I'm going to fail it. Okay, you pretty much might as well walk out with your F right then, because you just made your choice. Instead, when we change our mentality and we have our expectation to say, I don't know a lot about this, but I'm willing to try, then we get into, and we're going to talk about this in a second, but a growth mindset. But you've got to approach your expectations differently. If you're sitting in your life and going, well, this is a big fat failure and this is going to be terrible and I'm not going to have a good time and I'm going to stink at this and I'm going to embarrass myself and this is a joke, then yeah, probably all of those things are going to come true. I'll be honest. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? You've got to be willing to approach things with a better mentality. We don't need to lie to ourselves either and say, I'm going to ace this class. That's a great goal. But I think our expectations should not be based on that. When it comes to something like a class, you can just say, like, I'm going to learn a lot. I'm going to try my best. Or I'm going to audition for this. And if I don't get the role I want, great. Or I'm going to go to college. I'm going to be the first person in my family to go to college. And I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to make myself proud. You know what I'm saying? Those are the expectations. You go in and be like, well, I might last a semester, but I don't know. Like, so much power in the things we think. You have so much power in your mentality. You are a huge determiner of how you do at something because of what you think about it. Like I said, if you think gloom and doom, you're going to get gloom and doom. You have got to start with your expectations. And I'm not going to promise you success, but I will say that a guaranteed way to fail is to expect yourself to fail. You're not going to succeed unless you at least start to try to open up your mind and put yourself in a position of more positive, attainable thinking, right? Approach something new with that mentality and you will see it with forward momentum. It takes the pressure off being perfect. That's the other thing for all my people who say, I'm not trying something out because I'm going to be terrible at it. Well, that's kind of terrible. Imagine a world where we all experimented with something, even if we were terrible at it. Like, think about it. Let's say that you really wanted to try painting for a long time, but you're not a very good painter. Okay, so what? Who says you have to be good? If you like it, if it brings you pleasure and it looks like garbage, who cares? What if we all just did something because we enjoyed it? What if the pressure to be good at it was removed? What would you do if you didn't have to be good at it? What's something you would pursue if the pressure of being good at it was off? Well, gosh, I know for me, I'm historically bad at athletic stuff, but I might be more willing to join I was once on a adult softball team and I was the worst and it was embarrassing, but I had fun. But if the pressure I put on myself was removed, like, you don't have to be good at it, just go out there and have fun. Man, I would have probably enjoyed myself even more. I had a good time, but imagine what you would do if you didn't have to be good at it. If you just did it because it sounded fun, like, I'm going to join a choir, or I'm going to start drawing, or I'm going to be in drama. Like, think about the things, or I'm going to write a book. It doesn't have to be a good book. Nobody has to read it. I'm going to draw comics. I'm going to draw anime. It doesn't matter. Pick a thing, whatever sounds good to you, and just think about, like, what would you do if you didn't have to be good at it? If you removed the fear of failure, what are the things that you would do? So, sorry, I'm getting up on my soapbox. All right, here's some quotes about failure that are pretty cool. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Nobody successful got there without failing at one point or another. You guys have probably heard all these stories of rags to riches, people who started off, down on their luck and ended up, being super famous. I mean, there's like tons of stories about that. People who came from all sorts of backgrounds and coming from poverty, coming from trauma, coming from all different situations, who made it, who got there, who did the thing. But it wasn't because they had a straight shot to success. It's because there was failure and difficulty and obstacles along the way that they were able to navigate. So, and I could give you some examples, but I'm having a hard time drawing them. All right, here goes another mentality one. So we start off way down at the bottom. You see my friend, he's like sitting down. He's got his like head in his hands. He says, I won't do it. Some folks are stuck right here. Maybe it's you. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. Then we move up a step. I can't do it. Maybe you're willing to, but you just don't think you can. Then we move up another step. Now we're standing up. I want to do it. Okay, this is a better place to be. Move up another step. How do I do it? Move up another step. I'll try to do it. Ooh, now we're making progress. Next step, I can do it. Next step, I will do it. Then comes success. Think about it with my math class. After a while, I made up my mind. I was just not going to be good. I stopped even trying to learn. There I was, way at the bottom. I won't do this. I won't learn this stuff. It's not going to make any sense. If I decided and that's my own self making a choice. Well, then I sit there and go, well, I can't do it. Maybe I want to do it, but I just can't. I'm not good at it. Then you move through the process. I want to be good at math. How do I do this? Now we're starting to do some problem solving. We're starting to think, how do I do better at this? I'm going to now try to. I can be good at this. I will be good at this. Do you notice how that bookends of it? It's your choice. It's not about your ability. It's about your willingness. You're not going to succeed at anything if you're stuck in I won't do it land. You got to first change your mind. Period. Ooh, here goes another one. Here's your plan up top. You think it's going to go, I'm going to go from here to here to here to here to here. And then there's the finish line. Here's the reality. We're on our bike. There's pitfalls and rocks and bridges. And do we zip line? Do we take the boat? Do we have to climb up? There's storms. And it is not a smooth path, y'all. It is just not. And this is life too. I'm talking about grades. I'm talking about trying out for stuff. Let me talk about your life as a whole. You are going to go through times where you're like, I'm not sure that I can do this. I'm not sure that I'm worthy. And you've got to pick yourself up and keep on going and say, I'm going to try. I can do this. I will do it. It's going to look like the bottom. It's not going to look like the top. And anybody who's got a life that looks like the top is lying. They probably have a really nice Instagram because everybody has got their own stuff they're dealing with. Down here at the bottom, that's what life looks like. And some of us have had more obstacles to go over than others, but nobody's life is perfect. It's up to you to work through those things. So no grit, no pearl. What is grit? Here's how you move through failure into success. Grit is where passion meets perseverance. People who do not have grit, it's probably better if I explain it this way. People who do not have grit will encounter a problem and immediately give up. I can't do it. I'm not doing it. That's terrible. I'm done. Immediately give up. I cannot tell you how many kids I have worked with youth for 9 years, almost 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. Gosh, no, I'm doing math in my head. 8 years, 2013. Doesn't matter. Sorry. Squirrel. Anyway, I have seen kids who come in and we give them a problem on purpose. Like here's a team building activity, whatever. As soon as it starts to get difficult, they're out, they're frustrated and they are done. And then I've got some over here, some of which are kids who have been through some stuff. And that's part of it. Because they've been through the stuff, they have developed some grit and they're able to say, nope, I desire to get this done. I'm going to get this done. Everybody rally. We're doing this. I tell you, it's amazing to see what they do. I have a TED talk there, and in the interest of time, I'm not going to show it, but I will be putting it in the Discord if you guys want to watch it. Little bit of an overview. This guy was so afraid of rejection. Rejection can feel like failure, right? Like we don't want to be rejected. And so we don't try out for something. We don't, pursue friendships or relationships because we don't want to be rejected. People, this is a deep core fear of a lot of folks is rejection. And some folks for good reason. They've been rejected. And we don't want to encounter those feelings again or ever. But in some ways, that can hold us back. And that can be confused with failure, or they can kind of be one and the same. This guy, his name is Jia Jiang. He did a TED Talk where he talked about he made a game for himself. He was so afraid of rejection. He had some social anxiety. He hated being told no. Like he was always get super embarrassed and self-conscious. If even in like a restaurant, he was like, can I get some extra whatever? And like, oh, sorry, no, you can't. He would always like shut down. He said, I'm going to do 100 days of rejection. And every time I get rejected, I get a point. And if, whatever, but yeah, so he like made it to where he was trying to incentivize himself to get rejected. He did one where he walked up to Walmart customer service and was like, can I be your greeter for the day? And they're like, sure. And they let him. He did a lot of funny stuff. So when he's like, go up to a counter when he was trying to buy something, he's like, can I get the nice guy discount? And there's no such thing. And half of them were like, oh, no, we don't have a nice guy discount. But other stores would be like, sure, you seem like a nice guy. I'll give you 5% off. He basically learned that, again, if you don't try, you don't get anything. And he overcame his fear of rejection by practicing putting himself out there, getting himself uncomfortable, and asking things that he thought he would get totally said no to, when actually he didn't. He went to a Krispy Kreme, the donut shop. There's a lot of them in Atlanta. And he said, hi, can I get Krispy Kreme donuts, but can you make them in the shape of the Olympic rings with all the colors? He thought for sure they were going to say no. And instead, the people like took an hour to like get it perfectly right for him and get it right. And they're like, here you go. We tried really hard. We made it work. And it looked beautiful. And he was like so touched that they had gone to all this effort to try to make it work for him. And he realized that like a lot of people don't want to reject you. They just sometimes really can't give you what you want. But if they can, they're probably going to try. Other times he realized that he was asking for something strange. Like he went to Starbucks one time, was like, did the similar thing with the Walmart. Was like, can I be a Starbucks greeter? And he asked the barista and they're like, okay. But he started that conversation by saying, I know this is weird, but I want to know if I can be a greeter at your door. And they were like, okay. And he realized that saying, I know this is weird, kind of relaxed people a little bit when you know you're going to ask something a little strange by saying, I know this is weird, but could I do this? That kind of put people at ease. So that's just a little tip that I learned from there that I still use today. If I know I'm going to ask something strange, I'll be like, I know I'm asking something weird, but can I do blah, blah, blah. It is a great thing to practice, just putting yourself out there and getting a no, because no is okay. It can feel like a failure. It can feel like rejection, but actually it's fine. And most people want to give you what you're asking for. Sometimes they just really can't. So just something to think about. If y'all have any thoughts, again, please feel free to put them in the chat. So how do you get grit? So for some of you, you're like, yeah, I'm pretty perseverant. I get my stuff done. I know how to put the pedal to the metal. I can move through hard things. But for some folks, that's hard. Like I can't do hard things, or we just don't have the gumption that day. I can't do it. Practicing mindfulness. So we do this at the clubhouse for a reason. There is a lot of research that backs up how mindfulness changes your brain for the better. It can adjust neural pathways and make you feel happier, make you more resilient, and build grit. It's not about faking your way through happiness. It's about actually encountering all the negative emotions that you have anyway and moving through them. Also, knowing that your brain can change. You have a flexible brain, especially as a young person. If you're under the age of 25, your brain is still developing. And so you have an even easier way of changing your brain so that you can go from, I cannot do math, to, okay, yeah, I can do math. Once you get past 25, yes, you can change your brain too. It's always changeable. It has neuroplasticity. It's just that young folks have a bigger advantage. Their brain changes more rapidly. It's more prone to learning stuff quickly. So let's talk a second about growth versus fixed mindset. This is another way to build grit. It's about setting those expectations, changing the mentality, being able to get your mindset better than in a failure mindset. If you're in a failure mindset, this is how we're going to do this. Okay. So your mindset, duh, but you know this, but here we go. It's your attitudes, your thoughts, and your beliefs about something, just like your whole perception of how things are going. There are two different types of mindsets people have: fixed and growth. Let me tell you what those are. Let's talk about fixed. You're going to see fixed all the time. Most people have a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is the belief that you are born with a certain amount of intelligence and potential, and that's it. You are either good at math or you are bad at math, and that's determined from when you're born, right? You cannot get any better at it or any, or you can't suddenly gain math knowledge if you don't have it. What you're born with is what you got. Here are the drawbacks about having a fixed mindset. People can appear arrogant. Like if you're good at something, it's like, well, I'm good at it and you're not, so that just makes you better than you. This is not the one you want, by the way, the fixed mindset. We don't want that. You might always think you're right because you're not willing to grow. You're not willing to learn. You might show off because look how good I am. Look how talented I am. I have this talent. I was born with it. You were not. They would be willing to give up or get upset when they're wrong. They're not willing to learn. They talk bad about themselves when things don't go right. I'm so stupid. I'm so dumb. I don't get this. I'm never going to get this. Fixed mindset limits you from learning new things because you believe that you are good or bad at something and there is no hope for you to change. That is a fixed mindset. Like it's a fixed point. When you say something is fixed, it means it's stuck. Basically a stuck mindset. I'm stuck in what I'm good at is what I'm good at, and what I'm bad at is what I'm bad at, and nothing changes. I'm never going to get this. I'm never going to learn it. I'm always going to be this, blah, blah, blah. Now let's talk about a growth mindset. The growth mindset is belief that you're capable of working hard to increase your potential and intelligence. We are never as smart as we can be. So you can always increase your intelligence. Notice how growth mindset does not say your growth mindset means you're going to get an A. No, maybe. It's not making promises. It just means you can grow your potential and your intelligence. You can get better at math or whatever it is. Growth mindset makes you a more humble person because you understand that you're not perfect at everything, but you have a lot to learn. And that's okay. It also lets you learn from your mistakes because you go, guess what? That was a learning opportunity. Instead of seeing a mistake as a failure, you see a mistake as a learning opportunity. Okay, that didn't work out. I have Ellen, I have a side business and I have a workshop I'm supposed to be teaching this Saturday. No one has signed up. Not a single soul has signed up for my workshop on Saturday that I'm teaching. I'm a yoga teacher. Not a single person has signed up. It would be very easy for me to see that as a failure and be like, guess what? I failed. What I'm instead seeing it as is, you know what? Maybe people are interested in that topic. Maybe that's not a good time of day. There's a lot of options. I'm going to see that as a learning opportunity and then change from there and adjust. Because I know I have good things to offer. I just need to find a time for that to work. I need to find a place and a topic that resonates with people. I'm learning. And I don't even call it a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's just an opportunity that people didn't sign up for. Okay, I need to explore that. I'm not making it about me. I'm making it about the thing itself. Same thing with your math or your class or whatever. Don't make it about you. I'm a failure. I'm not good at it. Okay, I didn't understand that unit. I need to see if I can learn better next time. Or maybe I need to change my game for how I study. Or maybe I need to go in for some extra tutoring, or I need to do whatever. And again, it doesn't have to be about school. I'm using school a lot. This can be about anything. It makes you more open to learning. Growth mindset means you can believe you can become smarter. And yes, you can, because your brain can change. If you're like, no, I can't become smart. I am dumb and I'm dumb forever. Hello and welcome to your fixed mindset. Hello and welcome to that I won't do it level on the bottom step of that graph I showed you. You are choosing not to gain intelligence. That's different than the ability to. You have the ability to. It's up to you to decide to pursue it. They speak positively to themselves. You're doing a good job. I can do this. I'm capable of doing hard things. All those good affirmations that we say to ourselves. And they're okay with making mistakes and being not the best at something. It's okay to be terrible at something. It's okay to try and fail. That's all right. That is all right. Moving on. Here's some other examples of fixed versus growth mindsets. So we've got our little person here, and she's going to give us some examples here. So let's look at fixed. She says, I'm not good enough for this. I'm out of my league. I'm not supposed to be here. I am not good at this. Fixed mindset, they want to improve. They want to prove their intelligence or talent. Let's go over to growth mindset. She says, I did my best and that's good enough. Ooh, imagine a world where we said that to ourselves. Guess what? I tried my best and it was good enough. Now, don't say you tried your best when you didn't. But if you actually tried your best, you did the work, you tried hard, and that was the grade you got, or that was how you did, or you still didn't make the team, good enough. Good for you. Fixed mindset wants to prove themselves. Growth mindset wants to improve themselves. We're not trying to prove anything. We're trying to become better. Fixed mindset avoids challenges because they don't want to fail. Growth mindset engages challenges. Challenges are not scary. We can go after some challenges because guess what? We'll get better. Whatever we learn is a learning opportunity. It's not about failure. Fixed mindset avoids hard labor. They don't want to work hard. As soon as the going gets tough, they're out. Let me tell you, I don't want that person on my team. I don't want to work with that kind of person. It is annoying. I want someone who's willing to persist in overcoming obstacles. Next, treats criticism as an attack. When people start to critique their stuff, and let me tell you right now, because this is a hard lesson for people to learn, you are going to get criticism in your life. When you have a job, people are going to come up to you and you're either going to have evaluations where they sit you down, they tell you what all you need to work on, or your boss, whoever, because you are going to have a job at some point, your boss, whoever, is going to sit down and say, you need to do the following better. You are doing this incorrectly. If you treat that as a personal attack, you need to check yourself. There's a difference between insults and criticism. If someone's insulting you, that's different. If someone is simply offering you an opportunity to become better at your job, you need to take it and you need to not make that personal. If you're making it personal, you need to sit with that and explore it. Criticism is an opportunity. It's a way to become better. Also, don't mistake clarification for criticism. People will come up to you and say, what did you mean by this? I didn't understand this. Can you tell me more about this? They're not critiquing you. They want to get clarification. They want to understand it better. If your teacher says, I didn't understand this, can you tell me more about this? They're not critiquing your work. They're asking for clarification. And sometimes if they say, you know what, I really think you should have used this better, or I would have loved to see this, they are offering you criticism, which is a way for you to get better at something. If you take criticism as a personal attack, again, you need to check yourself. That doesn't mean, again, that we give a free pass for insults. Insults, if it truly is a personal attack, that's not okay. Criticism is different, and you will get criticism in your life. You need to be able to sit with it and accept it and work with it. It doesn't feel good. No one likes to feel good about, oh, I could have done better. Yikes. But I'm going to do better. Like, I'm going to take that. That's a gift they're giving you. I love the show, Great British Baking Show. If you have not seen it, it's like therapy. It is so good. It like calms my brain. And all these amateur civil, like, these are not celebrity bakers. If you haven't seen it, it's like civilian bakers, just grandma off the street is coming in to the baking tent and baking things for these like top level baking judges. And what I love about the show is the judges will try their food and be like, I think you did too much flavor, or I think it's too dense, you overmixed it or whatever. And it sounds really harsh, but then the next episode, they're using what the people have told them and they're getting better. And you watch over the course of the episodes, the people become stellar bakers because they're using the criticism. And I started realizing, instead of viewing the bakers as harsh, they seem harsh, they're actually giving these people gifts because they're making them top-notch bakers for no money. They're just taking a bite of the food and be like, tastes good, but I would do more of this, or that's okay, but like this, or ooh, I don't like this, I think you should have blah blah blah. Seems harsh, is actually amazing gift, making them a better baker. So treat criticism in that manner, like it's an opportunity to become better at something. Fixed mindset feels threatened by other people's success. Let me go ahead and tell you something. If something's going well for someone, that takes nothing away from you. That takes nothing away from you. And I'll say this too, because I know that we're all women here on this, but we need to be uplifting other women too. When another woman has got it going on for her, we celebrate that. Some other person, it doesn't just matter women, it could be men, it could be anybody, someone else getting something well in their life, doing well, having something good happen to them, celebrate that. That's a good thing. Now, if you're sitting and you're going through something hard and that person gets something that you've wanted for a very long time and you haven't gotten it, let me give you a phrase too. It's okay to say, happy for them, sad for me. That's another okay thing to say. If they're getting something that you desire, that you've been pining for and you've not been able to get, it's okay to say to yourself, I'm happy for them, I'm sad for me. That's okay too. But let me also say that in no way do we sit with that and become threatened by someone else's success. People are allowed to have good things come to them. And it is a good thing that things come to other people. We don't want bad things to happen to other people. We want good things to happen to other people. And we can celebrate that. And if you are jealous, let that jealousy motivate you. Pay attention to it. I'm jealous of that person. They're always getting good grades. They're always making A's. They're always, getting friends. Okay, pay attention to that. What do they have that I want? They have good grades. Let me pursue that. Okay, well, I'm going to go after good grades. When you're an adult, that person's got more money than me. I wish I had more money. Okay, pay attention to that. Let that motivate you to work harder, to find a better job, to go after the money. Don't make it about the person, make it about you, and make it about you pursuing your dreams. Man, I am preaching today, y'all. Sorry. Not sorry, actually. I'm giving you good things. Growth mindset is all about the word yet. Let me offer that to you too. If you are like, I'm not sure, if you could take one thing away from this, take this. Change your phrases from I'm not good at math to I'm not good at math yet. I haven't made the team yet. I haven't made the money I want to make yet. Put yet at the end of your sentences. It will change your life. It will change your life because that changes it from fixed, I'm not good at math, period, end of sentence, to I'm not good at math yet. That means there's something coming after. All right, so we're going to practice, and this is the last thing. Wow, that white screen is like on my face. I am going to turn my light on now. We're going to practice, and then we're going to be done. Okay. That's better, question mark. Fixed phrases. I'm not good at this. Growth mindset. I'll get better with practice. Okay. I'm going to give you a fixed mindset phrase. I want you to give me the growth mindset like equivalent. So you see how I'm not good at this, change to I'll get better with practice. So I'll give you one. I don't understand this chapter. We're just going to talk about whatever thing. I don't understand this chapter. I don't get this chapter. That's our fixed mindset phrase. What could you say? That would be a growth mindset phrase. And while you wait, you're going to watch me play with my fidget toy. Or while I wait, watch me play with my fidget toy. It's got foam in it. So what could we say instead of, I don't understand this chapter. I don't get this chapter, period. What could, I'm waiting for y'all. What could you say instead? Just put it in the chat. Instead of, I don't get this chapter, what's a growth mindset? How do we change that to a growth mindset phrase? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Found my way to say it. I'll give you like 20 more seconds. I'll try, but I may not do good. Okay, perfect. That's fine. I'm going to try. You may not do good. You may do great. You don't know. At least try, right? I don't get this chapter. You could also do, I don't get this chapter yet, because you're going to do something about it, right? Exactly. Let me think of one more and then I'll leave you all alone. Okay, I'm gonna give you all a tricky one. I'm not good at anything. I've heard kids say that to me. I'm not good at anything. What could you say instead of saying I'm not good at anything? I have heard people say that. I'm not good at anything. I'll be like, what do you like to do? What do you do? I don't know. Do you do any sports? No. Do you do any art? No. Do you do anything? I'm not good at anything. I'm gonna try to get better. Or yeah, I'm gonna try to get better. Or I'm learning what I'm good at. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring out what I'm good at. Great. That means you're figuring it out. I'm gonna try to get better. Perfect. Yes. Yes. I'm learning what's best for me. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still figuring it out. We love that. Y'all, that was all I've got. I am going to put the TED Talk in the